Since the dawn of time, mankind has held a deep reverence for the ancient wisdom of the plant kingdom, and it's only recently in modern times that this kinship has been forgotten. Botanical communication is not about receiving a FaceTime call from a tree. It is about understanding that language and the interchange of thoughts or information between our species can also come in nonverbal ways if we as Rh-negative celestial starseed source players are able to effectively use our divine gifts and special ability of ecological empathy to tune in and to listen. Ecological empathy is an environmental awareness to sense the overall well-being and conditions of one's immediate environment and natural settings stemming from a psychic sensitivity to nature. Each of us has connected with plants when we stop to smell the roses or walk in the woods, even if we are not consciously aware of it. The soothing, healing, and tranquilizing feeling that one experiences when you are gardening or out in nature are your chlorokinetic special abilities that are psychically attuned to the joyous vibrations of the plant life around you. To follow this feeling one step further, to its source, is to put yourself into direct communication with the plant kingdom. For millennia, we have co-evolved with the plant kingdom by helping to breed or pollinate them, while they feed us and provide us with life-saving medicine in return. Plant life speaks to us directly through our consciousness when we ingest them. The truth about the plant kingdom communicating directly with us is well accepted by starseed indigenous cultures who still live close to the land. It should be no surprise that many people living in metropolitan concrete jungles, eating genetically modified processed or frozen packaged foods with little exposure to natural environments, might feel otherwise. In order to communicate with members of the plant kingdom, or any sentient being, one has to be able to regard them as your equals. If you are afraid or ashamed to talk with people, then you'll also find it difficult to talk with members of the plant kingdom. However, you'll find that it's easier to communicate with plants than it is to communicate with low vibrational humans, because members of the plant kingdom do not have egotistical defense mechanisms nor self-importance agendas in place, which tend to engage our own egotism, defenses, and ideas of self-importance. Botanical or floral communication means to recognize plant life as highly intuitive and awakened sentient beings whose feelings are just as important to them as your feelings are to you. When first learning to communicate with plants, it helps to be in contact with the same individual plants on a daily basis. You can ask questions and receive answers that will be telepathically transmitted as though you were holding a conversation in your own mind. It is easy to learn how to talk with house and garden plants, since these ones are particularly eager to discuss matters such as fertilization, watering, shade, grafting, and transplanting techniques. In addition to such mundane affairs, plants, and particularly large trees, can provide helpful advice on all sorts of matters if you choose to speak to them about things that are proving to be problematic or concerning for you. Some of our most trusted advisors here on our sister Earth are the trees. This is because in actuality, the radiant glow of auras in both humanoids and trees are quite similar. Even the least psychically gifted individual going up to a large tree should be able to pick up something of the personality of that tree. It is possible to call upon your omnilingual and botanical empathic senses to reinforce your feelings by relaxing into the process rather than trying to control it. A good time to learn to connect emotionally with trees is when they are in the process of transitioning into the astral realm dimension. The next time that you see a tree beginning to wither and fall, take a moment to pause and quiet down your thoughts and watch it attentively. you should easily be able to feel the tree's agony just before it falls. Since trees and all sentient beings are filled with cosmic power, and at the moment of their transition, they profoundly affect all of the beings that surround them. Loggers triumphantly yell timber when a tree falls in the forest. This is to cover up their sense of shame and disconnectedness, to block communication with the tree at the moment of its death. Another good time to pick up on the feelings of plant life is when they are in motion. Plants are happiest when they are moving, blown by the wind and the rain. It is only polite to wave back to them when they wave at you. Observe how they dance in the breeze. Watch how the trees, which overhang the roads and the walkways, cast down a host of beautiful emotions connected to the heart center on all those who may pass beneath them. Rh-negative celestial starseeds are born with the inherent chloropathic and chlorokinetic special abilities to control, manipulate, and communicate with all forms of plant life, including flowers, trees, fruits, vegetables, pollen, etc., either telepathically by green speaking verbally or by touching them physically. Plants can tell the source player of what happened or what is happening, for example, like helping them track someone from a long distance away. You can even question plants about events in the area within the past day, gaining information about creatures that have passed, the weather, and other circumstances. Some of the advanced level beings can even utilize our botanical, linguistic, and floral energy manipulation talents to bond with and influence the actions of certain horticultural elements. Using simple commands, Rh-negative celestial starseeds can influence and accelerate the life cycle of plants, causing them to mature with supernatural speed, move at will with incredible ease, grow to unusual size, and produce in abundance even outside of season, as well as make violent vines burst out of the soil to attack predatory enemies attempting to prey on us. We can also use our agricultural kinetic power for self-defense and support, causing flowers and other plants to bloom instantaneously, manipulating tree branches to use them as weapons, and can resurrect plants and lush vegetation that have withered and died miraculously sprout back to life. Through botanical symbiosis, source players can gain special abilities by hosting plant life in one's body. These plants can live inside the host and be utilized according to the need. Often the source player will be able to manifest botanical abilities like photosynthesis, regeneration, shape-shifting, and even a more robust physique due to the symbiote's influence. As a living, intelligent being, the plant symbiote will most likely do what it can to ensure the welfare of its host so that the relationship can continue successfully. All plant life have properties that affect our consciousness, while some affect our physical material bodies. A neural synapse is a junction between two nerve cells where an electrochemical process occurs. These synapses allow our body to communicate to itself through our nervous system, and they can also be directly affected through ingesting plants and vegetation. Anything that informs our bodies or consciousness is considered a form of communication. Experiencers of magical ceremonial visions can be profoundly influenced by sacred medicinal plants to be mediums through which visual transmissions of nonverbal information are conveyed from the plant kingdom. The fact is that source players have used sacred plant medicines in all forms to convey ideas that transcend words since before written language existed. In this context, Rh negatives play a shamanic role in our modern society. The plant kingdom teaches those whom have become disconnected from the natural world by living in cities and spending days on the computer that botanical communication is the most potent way to reconnect to something much greater than ourselves. Plant life screams at us to stop clear-cutting rainforests and we as Rh-negative celestial starseeds have the divine gifts and special abilities to amplify this message. The beautiful thing about botanical communication and developing a deep relationship with nature is that each of us get our own messages directly from within as a result of giving ourselves time to connect with the plant kingdom. There is a current trend of people whom have become disenchanted with materialism traveling to the Amazon for a ceremonial experience with the sacred plant medicine ayahuasca. There are also therapeutic benefits in addressing trauma and addiction with various hallucinogenic mushrooms, as well as curative qualities to plants found in the forests and jungles that require ones to be present in that particular environment in order to properly have that experience. It is no accident that herbal and natural remedies are being increasingly sought as people are exploring alternatives in order to live a more healthy lifestyle. In addition, plant-based plastics and fuel are now even being considered as ways to address current environmental issues. Whether it is a plant such as jasmine or rosemary that calms our nervous system when we drink it in tea, or spirulina in a smoothie that energizes our cells, our relationship with plants and the natural world is ancient as well as essential to our survival. We might not need to take a trip to the Amazon to try ayahuasca with a medicine man to awaken this connection to the omniversal network environment. It could just be as simple as us deciding to spend some time taking a walk in the woods or a meadow, or by adopting a more vegetarian-based way of living. Plants' experience of being in the world is very different from the experience of us and of animals. Because plants cannot move about, they exist in a state of profound acceptance and peace within themselves. Emotions such as fear, hate, jealousy, possessiveness, etc., are wholly unknown to plants and would serve no useful purpose. On the other hand, plants are capable of experiencing a wide range of higher emotions, the like of which some of us could barely conceive. At the same time, there are feelings which plants share with us and animals, such as love, pain, joy, thirst, hunger, etc. It is the feelings we share with plants that provide the basis of our ability to communicate with them. It would be wise to be aware of the heightened awareness of the plant kingdom. When walking through the woods or meadows, feel as though you were walking through a crowd of people, all of whom are watching you. Feeling with plants is not so different from feeling with people. For example, when we are about to be intimate with someone whom we are really attracted to, we feel a palpable surge of sexual energy connecting us to that person. Similarly, when we walk into a room to face someone who is upset with us, we feel connected to that person by a palpable wave of anger and of fear. When you see with your feelings rather than with your mind, your visual attention is not focused on any one thing, but rather the vividness of everything within your field of vision strikes your attention with equal impact, as it does in the Dreamtime dimension. In order to see this way, you have to have your mind quiet, and you have to be in a joyous and abandoned mood. If you are bummed out, or you are grumpy, you won't be able to see what plants are feeling any more than you'd be able to see a baby smiling at you. That's why it's important to have your own mind as quiet as possible, to be in a relaxed mood, if you expect plants to effectively communicate with you. Because if your own mind is buzzing and talking over them, there's no way that the plants can get a word in edgewise. Much of our social training entails learning to stifle our senses, to not see what is right before our eyes, to not listen to what our ears are hearing, to be offended by smells, and to be discomforted by touch. Cutting off our senses leaves us feeling apathetic and disconnected from our natural world. Therefore, if we want to renew our feeling of connectedness, which we had as infants, we have to start tuning our senses into our feelings once again. And because they are so non-threatening, botanical communication with the plant kingdom is a great place to begin. Not only do different species of plants have different feelings associated with them, but also there is considerable individual variation in personalities between different plants of the same species, between different branches on the same plant, and even between different leaves on the same branch. If you invest the time in learning how to develop your botanical communication special abilities with plants, whether it's an orchid, broccoli plant, rosebush, or giant redwood, you will, without a doubt, enhance your life with new insights, appreciation, and understanding. Communicating with plants is a two-way street that occurs on a level playing field. No one has the upper hand in this conversation. It's just two individuals chatting back and forth. All you need is a genuine curiosity, a sense of adventure, and a total reliance upon spiritual truth. The rewards are a greater ability to pay attention to life, a stronger kinship with our sister Earth, and an even greater capacity to become harmonic reactors and manifesting generators by exuding a host of beautiful emotions connected to the oneness of our heart center.